Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're gonna get started shortly. Here we go. Can you see my screen?
Welcome to the heartbeat of the city. We are building the future of impact at the World Legacy Fest.
It all starts on June 20th at Rodney Cook Park. Our citywide block party and festival is the main stage, where global energy meets Atlanta's authentic culture. Right here on the west side, it's bigger than the game. June 21st, Fathers on the Field. This is where the foundation is poured. This is where the legacy is secured. Real men, real impact, planting seeds on our own soil.
From the field, we elevate to the world stage, hosting global visionaries at our exclusive luncheon, connecting Atlanta's history to the world's future. We take that energy and channel it into a standard of excellence, celebrating the power of our culture on a truly global scale. World Legacy Fest 2026. This is the blueprint. We play to win.
Awesome, awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. Welcome to the Power Hour. The hour shall pass, but the power continues. Ricardo Berry's here, Chairman of the Global Opportunities Committee for the Atlanta Black Chamber. Thank you for joining. If you haven't done so yet, please let us know where you're joining in from in the chat. That would be pretty cool. And if you know someone who should be here and they're not actually here, please go ahead and let them know we're starting. keep your microphones on mute. We'll take questions that you may have. You can put them in the chat later on, or you can raise your hand when we're doing our quick QA round. The session is actually being recorded, so you can find this later on where YouTube or any of your social media. Please feel free to also follow us there. We're on LinkedIn as Global Opportunities Committee. We're on YouTube or anywhere where you do social, I guess, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow us there. Also follow the Atlanta Black Chamber. You know, the Atlanta Black Chamber is doing a lot of amazing things, and we have a YouTube channel over there, Atlanta Black Chamber as well. So if you haven't followed or subscribed to the channel, just do that so you don't miss out. And then also just coming up this week. Later today, we continue our conversation later today on building the Go Global ecosystem. So we do a lot there. We're building out technology, and we're just building as we go. So there's a lot happening behind the scene. Or conference. We'll actually have a info session for our conference tomorrow. So check your mail if you haven't seen that. We'll drop that in the chat at some point during this conversation. And then also we have two info sessions on Thursday for the conference, one in the morning for those who are in a different time zone, one in the afternoon for those who couldn't make the morning. And then we also will have that conversation coming up on this Thursday. So every other Thursday we do that. The conference is scheduled for September 30th to October 3rd, so it's a couple weeks away. It's not too far from here. And so if you're interested, lean right in. That would be super helpful and great to kind of have you coming in on board for that. Just making sure I don't forget anything. We do actually have a GOC mixer in person coming up. So if you're in Atlanta and you want to actually be a part of that, you should stay tuned. And we'll make sure we share that. That's coming up later this month. Also, this Saturday, we'll put this in the chat as well for those people who want to sign up and be a part of World Cup activities and so forth during the city. On Saturday, the World Cup ready team, the World Legacy Fest team, we will all be down in downtown. I'm going to put the information in the chat shortly, but it's going to be a free workshop for the entire day, just to make sure that everybody who is interested in participating in any World Cup activities can actually sign up, can actually do so, where everything is situated. So there's going to be a big free sort of last hurrah, as we kind of say, whiteboard workshop. Tamika Holyfield, you remember Tamika Holyfield from last week, will be there, and Eric Fears will be there to provide some key insights around the opportunities to sign up and be a part of what's happening there. So stay tuned for that. We'll drop those stuff in the chat, and you can drop your stuff in the chat if you'd like. I see some folks already doing that, and that's pretty cool. Well, today we actually are talking about Europe. We're talking about Spain. I wanted to chat with someone who is more connected to Spain than I am, because it's like Spain. Spain is coming here. First of all, Spain is going to be here in Atlanta playing the FIFA World Cup. And there's a lot happening in Spain that, like, well, we should learn a little bit about Spain. I mean, I'm always a learner, so hey, if you're always a learner too, then big shout out to you. But we do have Natalie, and Natalie, you're gonna have to help me with the last name, because I usually mess people's last name up. So we probably will allow you to help me to pronounce the last name. So let's do it. So how do I pronounce it now?
So it's Vuorjano.
Vuorjano.
That was pretty impressive.
All right.
Okay, look at you rolling
Natalie
your
Vuorjano
R's.
is our guest today, and we're going to hang out today. We're going to talk a lot about sort of Europe, Spain, but more importantly, I'll give Natalie a chance to talk a little bit about herself. I'm not sure if any of you have been to Spain. I've actually not been to Spain. I've been out to Europe a few countries out there, but Spain is actually on the list. But we did want to have a chat with Natalie. So Natalie, welcome to the Power Hour.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is a group of
Excited.
cross-border nomads, I guess, international business enthusiasts
Mhm.
and experts and folks who are doing business internationally, and or who want to do business internationally. So this is your audience. They're from all over the world, from Atlanta. I see people from Guyana and from the continent on the call, and so it's a pleasure to provide some information this week on another topic, which is in this case Spain. So why don't we start with some background and
Right?
tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my last name is from Finland. Most people think I'm Portuguese and Latin. So I'm actually half Finnish. My dad is East African from Eritrea, which is right by Ethiopia. And I was born and raised in Stockholm, Sweden. So I have a European passport. I'm Swedish technically, but my blood is not. I moved to the United States in 1994. I'm telling my age now to go to college and have built a successful real estate business here in Atlanta. I'm also a business coach and I teach nationally and internationally for Keller Williams as well. So um, definitely have the entrepreneurial spirit. And I love the fact that throughout the years, these, 50 years on this earth, I've seen the change and adjustment of the fact that we can really do anything entrepreneurship wise globally now, right? So that's an opportunity that we didn't have 30 years ago, 20 years ago, right? The last 2.5 years, I've been living bicontinentally. So I lived in Atlanta and Spain. And my goal to go to Spain was not just to get back to Europe, because I do love the lifestyle there. It's a lot less stressful as the United States is and healthier. But I think more importantly, I felt like there's opportunities there for business. And so my original plan was to move to Spain and expand my real estate business in Spain. As I started doing a little bit of research, as you'll hear a little bit later, I've pivoted a little bit. I'm back in the United States right now, and I will be looking at some development options, opportunities in real estate instead, not just in Spain, but also in France. So get deeper into that in a little bit. But if you have not been to Spain, it needs to be on your list. I mean, I'm from Sweden. I say you should go to Sweden too, but no. If I had to say go to one place in Europe that might have opportunities, I would right away say Spain. So, and it's a beautiful city.
Yeah,
Barcelona.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
Barcelona is a beautiful city.
that's awesome. And the so just for context, we met at I think it was a First Friday event. So for folks who would have attended First Friday by the Atlanta Black Chamber, usually in January of the year. I think that was it this January we met or last
Yes,
one?
it was this January
Um,
because I was already
so,
deciding to come back here full
right,
time. Yeah, we had, and that's
right,
why
right.
we get involved, right?
Yeah, so we met and then discovering that you're from Spain and we've been in touch and you've been giving me a little bit of a scoop on Spain and so forth. So pretty cool. Now you spent a lot of time obviously living and operating between, like you just said, the US, Europe, Spain. What initially sort of drew you to Spain and what was the thing that sort of kept you there for this time? I know you're now in between spaces.
Yeah, it was wanting to go back to Europe, right? Living in the United States for 32 years, and my kids, I have two sons, they're 24 and 29. They moved back, moved to Sweden. They didn't, never grew up there, they grew up here. And just realizing that I know that ultimately I'm going to want to live outside of the United States. So what does that look like? Where can I start businesses where I can create opportunities, not just for myself, but maybe even for my family or people around my sphere? So when I decided to move back to Europe, I knew that I wanted to be in a country that had a lot more opportunities. And to be honest, also I wanted somewhere that is sunny most of the year. So it kind of put me in the Mediterranean. So I was looking at Spain, France, Italy, and Greece. Well, if you're looking at those four countries, I realized really quickly that the two that have the strongest economies were Spain as well as France. I don't speak Spanish fluently, but I understand a lot of Spanish. So, Spain has always been something I've enjoyed, and I love the water and the beach. And that's when I chose to just go ahead and get an apartment in Spain and pack my bags and go over there and live bicontinentally for 2.5 years.
Yeah, this is interesting, and I think it was particularly why I wanted you to come to chat about Spain because you're not from there, and you're also don't. You said you don't speak the language, so wow,
Right.
that sounds like anybody could actually do this, right?
Absolutely,
So
100%.
it's
Yeah.
like you could do it, then anyone can actually do it. So thanks for highlighting that. Now, Spain is, like you said, one of the best economies out in Europe. And it continue to attract whether it's entrepreneurs, investors and other businesses expatriates from other parts of the world. What do you think makes Spain such a an attractive destination today?
Well, I think that when you hear the words like the country Spain, the first thing people think about is beaches, wine, right? Food, soccer, like Madrid, Real Madrid and Barcelona, right? And Barca, and vacations. And so people don't realize that out of all the European countries, Spain is probably the most dynamic economies because they're the fourth largest economy in the European Union. And they have about 49 million people that you can market to. So like if you're looking at a country like Sweden, where I'm from, we have like 8 million, right? So if you start looking at the size of countries in Europe, Spain just has tons of opportunities. The interesting part about Spain as well is the fact that it's kind of divided, right? So you got Madrid, right? That's landlocked. And that's kind of like the business capital. And then you have Barcelona, that's by the water, that's more like, you know, tourism. Both of them have tourism, but it's very tourist heavy. And it doesn't matter if you go to one or the other. Most people that are in business speak English, right? And so just kind of touch on that. Here's the thing. I didn't realize, I knew I'd heard about Catalan, right? So Catalan is their own language, and there's a huge kind of split between the Catalan people, which is the region of Barcelona. They kind of want to pull away from Spain. So what I noticed really quickly is if you are not Catalan or don't speak Catalan, you're trying to do business in Barcelona, it's going to be a lot harder. So sometimes I tell people if they're looking to expand to Europe, maybe Madrid is a better option because over there they're true Spaniards. But in Barcelona, there's kind of a divide. I was trying to compare that to somebody, and don't take this the wrong way, guys. I'm half black, half white, so I'm going to say it. I will say it's almost like being in the United States and having being a black business owner and trying to do business with white business owners sometimes, right? And so there's this, okay, well, that's not my culture. I'm comfortable with the people in my culture. Same thing in Barcelona. The Catalan wants to stick with the Catalan people. And in Barcelona, even if you spoke Spanish fluently, if you do paperwork, a lot of the paperwork to file paperwork in the government buildings and government entities are in Catalan. So you still would have to hire a translator for that. So I just kind of wanted to give the difference between those two. What I love about Spain and what Spain is so unique is really positioned in a perfect location. Kind of like I have a friend Sable that's probably on here. We're getting ready to do a seminar about, moving to Panama, and she helps people figure out how to run businesses there as well. So she's gonna drop the link over there. Panama is the gateway to South America, North America, and a lot of other opportunities. So, like if you're looking at starting a business and you're from Ghana, you might want to establish it in Panama because it's easier to get into the United States tax-wise, right? And so Spain is the same thing. It is the gateway to Europe, Africa, Latin America, and also Asia. It's like smack in the middle of all of it. So there's a lot of opportunities because of that. Um, I think that it's always good to know language and speak the language, but at the same time, you can have your resources and be able to get help and have translators or just get somebody to kind of outsource that too when you're communicating with people. But Europe is unique in a way that English is something that most countries are teaching people, especially the younger generation. Like that's part of school. It is guaranteed that when you speak to somebody in Europe and they're, let's say 20, 30, they speak at least two languages. And some of my friends speak seven, right? So.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you just pointed it out about sort of Spain being like the gateway to Europe market. And I didn't realize that. I mean, I know Spain is connected because they're the kingdom, the Spanish kingdom, so all of the Spanish colonies. But then you also said that there's that huge connection to Africa as well, right? And then other parts of Europe. So it feels like it's a drop dead sort of a space where you want to kind of kick things off.
Yeah, and the European Union, there's 450 million consumers in the European Union. And
Yeah.
so And I think that there's so many opportunities, especially for people that are on this call that are not from the United States necessarily, because with everything that Trump is doing right now, a lot of European Union are like pulling away from getting anything from the United States because of Trump. So like if you're based out of another country, they're looking for opportunities from other countries to fill the need that they have that is not filled within European Union. So there's some opportunities there as well for that.
And one of the areas that we think people often misunderstand or underestimate is culture. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
what do you think some of the biggest challenges or cultural differences, if you may, that you've actually experienced between sort of doing business in Spain and doing it here in the US?
So, okay. I can be transparent, right?
Sure.
You know me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. So the word I kept on, like if you had a word to say, it was mañana, 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 which means tomorrow, later, 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 right? So that's the biggest thing. Like if you are used to United States where, hey, let's get together for coffee, you're like sending an email right away, send a calendar invite. Hey, send me that information. It's supposed to come within, 24 hours. Not the case. Like when I was looking for an apartment over there and I wanted to expand my real estate business, I could barely get phone calls back. Oh yeah, we'll meet to show you the apartment. I'm standing there for an hour. They finally respond and go, oh, can we meet at 6 o'clock instead? And we had like a 4 o'clock appointment. So the culture is very laid back. It's typical Latin culture when it comes to business. But I think from a European perspective, Spain is unique because there's not a stress on time. And business is not number one. Lifestyle and family is number one. Like, if you're going to Spain and you want to go and you're only going to be there for 1 or 2 days, skip Sunday because most of the stores are closed. And Fridays as well. There's so many Friday holidays. Like I feel like every single Friday, that every at least once or twice a month, there was like some kind of holiday, a saint holiday. And when there's a holiday, there is no business being done, period. So I think that's the biggest cultural difference is business is not first. Making money is not first. What's first is your family, your lifestyle, and that's why Europeans are so happy, right? Now, here's the flip side on it. Because of that, a lot of international companies have stopped hiring people in Spain because they technically could be like, oh, I'm sick, and then be out for like however amount of days. There's no limit on sick days, for example, for employees. So I will always caution people that say, I'm gonna have to hire somebody there. Yeah, but make sure that you look into the law because I know that Sweden, France, and Spain, a couple other countries and Finland, that they just stopped hiring people from because the employment laws are so much focused on the employees and not the business. So like we're a capitalistic country in the United States, we're like go, 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 go. Not there. Like when they're on vacation, they are not allowed to even open up their email. I know some of you guys are like, wait, what? We're on vacation and we have our laptop with us, right? So um, that's, I think, the biggest cultural difference is that one. Here's the second part. How taxes are done are so different. So yeah, you can go ahead and start a business there but you have to understand that you're going to be paying a lot more in taxes. And so having a tax accountant that takes a look at things doesn't make sense. That was one of the reasons I decided not to expand my real estate business because I realized that they are running real estate in Spain like 40 years ago here. Like there's no multiple listing services, which means you can search online and all the listings are in one place. There's no super lock boxes. So if I have to show 5 houses, I have to go and call 5 or maybe 10 different real estate agents because one seller might have 2, 3 agents to find out who has the key. Pick up all the keys to go show the houses for people and bring them back. Like it's culturally, it's not the most time efficient. And so there's a lot of fluff, and you're kind of like, why are we doing it this way? Well, that's just how it's been done. So that you have to kind of understand that the culture is different. And if you're going into it, embrace it. It's the culture is something I love when I live there, but I would hate it when I was a business owner. Does that make sense? Like, why is so many holidays? But when I'm there and everybody's kind of la la la, I love that part. But if I'm a business owner, I'm like, we're wasting time. Let's get to it. So it's kind of a catch 22.
Yeah, that interesting. So how does that in terms of relationship and trust in the business culture, like how does that affect relationships and trust within that Spain culture, you think?
So Spain is one of those unique countries that, it doesn't even matter about the numbers sometimes for them. It's about, do they trust you? Do they like you? And do they feel like you're aligned with them? Right? And so we in the United States, we're so much of capitalism. We can do business with somebody that we don't even like if we know we're going to make money. Right? So it's very money driven, spreadsheet driven. Not the case there. Right? So I would recommend that if you're considering to do some business out of Spain and you have the opportunity, like go and live there for like a month or two, right? I think Americans can be there for 3 months, right? And so that way you can actually go into the communities, be there, have conversations with people, create relationships. And to be honest, there's not that many of us, right? Being in business and successful. So there is a network of people that are international that would want to help each other, right? So when I got there, I got in a lot of the meetup groups and met a lot of business owners that are successful in Spain that are not necessarily from Spain, right? And I think that that's a great network to get into as well. We have so many nomads that have moved to Spain that are living there because of the opportunities. Um, there's not just real estate. Like I was in real estate, and a lot of people think, okay, it's just tourism, but no, it's also renewable energy. We're one of the top countries. Spain is one of the top countries in Europe in renewable energy. Technology and startups, like Barcelona is known for that. Healthcare and senior living. Of course, wine industry and food industry is opportunities wise, but we have like some of the major ports there as well also. So there's a lot of logistics and international trade that comes through Barcelona. As a matter of fact, Barcelona is now talking about stopping the cruise boats from coming because they're just clogging up the streets and they're coming in for a day and they're out. And they want to kind of open up those ports to more business versus tourism. When I got to Spain, by the way, just to give you kind of a concept of how much opportunity is there, just off of people coming in and out as tourists that might want to buy or do services. And the people that come there also always go, oh my God, I love it. And I want to come back and want to look at opportunities. Like when I was there, moved there in 2024-ish, 2023, 24, 19 million people came to visit Barcelona. In 1 year, that number jumped to 26 million. That is one of the reasons I then realized that they actually want to stop tourism and limiting the amount of tourism happening there. So if I was a company that was focused on tourism and now they're talking about getting rid of all short-term rentals, stopping the cruise boats of coming through. So there's definitely things that if depending on your business, you have to think of. As a country like Spain is going through such expansion in certain areas of their economy, are they going to squeeze back? So like if this was United States saying, oh, more, the more, the more, more. In Spain, they're going, this is not working for our people in our country. We're going to have to put some stopping and putting some regulations to stop this flow of tourism, right? So I think that's the biggest cultural difference as well. But yeah, there's so many opportunities. I think the other ones why people are wanting to come there is low cost compared to major US cities, right? There's a lot of foreign investment happening, but they're putting some regulations on that as well. They're talking about start taxing people more. What they're like, if you wanted to buy property there and you're a foreigner, they're going to 100% tax you. So property that's 200,000 might cost you 400,000, right? So they're doing a lot of things of that nature. So yes, even though Spain is the gateway to get in, if you're considering wanting to expand to Europe, there are other European countries, part of the European Union, that you could also base your business out of to get into Spain. Because Spain, out of all the countries, is the one that I feel like is the most looking to regulate a lot more than other countries because they need to control the amount of tourism coming in there right now.
Hmm. Yeah, so let's talk about real estate and investment because you are obviously a realtor as well, and you've made decisions around sort of where you focus your real estate in. I think you mentioned earlier that was it that you considered doing real estate in Spain
I
and
did, but it wasn't a moneymaker like it is here, and it wouldn't have been effective and efficient. So now what I'm doing instead is I'm setting up a network of real estate agents that I have trained and I trust there, and I just refer the business to them instead of me starting my own business there, right? Because when I started looking at how much money they make, and they don't have what we call exclusive listing agreements, really. So a seller can hire 5 different real estate agents to try to go out there, and they all just want to try to find their own buyers so they can make as much money as they can. And when I looked at the numbers, I went, that makes no sense. So now, my brother actually and his friends from Sweden, they do flips and investments in Spain, but in southern coast like Marbella and those touristy areas. And so I pivoted and made a decision that if I am going to invest there, it's going to be in that way instead. So instead of going and being a real estate agent or starting a real estate team there, I'm looking at all their investment opportunities to buy some land and develop there instead. So I came back here to really learn to do bigger developments here, and then looking at can we do that in Spain, right? Um, what I love about that is because I have a European passport, it's easier for me to get in and enter, right? If you don't have that, there's a lot more loopholes you have to go through to start a business there. But because I have a European passport, it's going to be much easier for me.
So it sounds like, and that's a very interesting way to actually look at it, because a lot of times we think to actually do business in another territory, we actually have to go and set up the business there, as opposed to say partner with a network of folks. There's partnership. I want to talk a little bit about that, but because we're on the subject of investment, I want to switch gears for a quick second, and I want to bring Dr. Nicholas Harvey on the stage here. Dr. Nicholas Harvey is actually doing a lot of work around capital readiness and investment. It's like, how do you actually prepare yourself for investment opportunities? How do you prepare yourself to dive in when the opportunity presents itself? And so what we've been working on is we've been doing some planning and development as in GOC in the background for 3 pathways: investment, because that's what we focus on in terms of GOC, trade, partnership, and investment opportunities. It's like when the investment opportunity presents itself, how do you prepare? How do you get ready? And so we've been working with Dr. Harvey. He's developed a capital readiness program to help people to understand how to prepare for that lane. We also have the trade, and you'll hear more about sort of the trade program, and then the partnership. And I want to get back to partnership with you, Natalie, but I did want to say, morning, Doc. We're spotlighting that program today. If you would just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the capital readiness program and how can folks be a part of it. I think you have a session today as well that people can join to learn more.
Yeah, greetings, family. So good to be with you. Natalie, welcome to our GOC Power Hour meeting. Bienvenido, I think that's what we say. So glad to have everybody with us on today. The Boy Scout motto is be prepared, but semper paratus really means always prepared. And sometimes as business owners, we find ourselves getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. We know in our communities that if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So one of the things that we're doing is having our Concept to Capital community call every Wednesday at noon. So at some point, business owners, you will need outside capital investment. At some point, when you're growing, when you're scaling, even at the lowest levels, start thinking in terms of, hey, how do I get a line of credit? That same process at that level moves you from line of credit to looking in terms of partnering with banks, community development finance institutions, angel investors, venture capitalists, and the like. We're engaging in those conversations right now, every week, so that in a nice, safe environment, we can say, can we now look at our business, not from our own eyes, with just passion and love, and this is our cute bunker baby, but from the perspective of an investor who's thinking critically and thinking about the return on investment. This is a position where we come in, we are not coming as paupers, we're not coming in as beggars. We are partners, we are builders, and here at the GOC and with our Concept of Capital initiative, we can support you in doing so. So Chairman Ricardo, thank you so very much for the time. And friends, we look forward to seeing you at noon on today, and share it with your friends. That information is in the chat, and we thank you so very, very much.
So
Good
thank you,
news.
Doc. Thank you, Doc. Before you jump,
Yes.
so you
Yes.
you you are sharing this. If people want to jump in and listen to or participate in that, that's coming up later today, and
Yes.
you're sharing that into the chat, correct? So go
I
ahead and
am.
share it in the chat again. But I want to ask you one quick question, really, sort of like who exactly, how would you describe the person who would need to participate in this?
Sure. So we have actually an assessment, right? Where we're looking for our business owners, our founders who are looking to grow and scale. But guess what? We're also welcoming to those persons who are thinking about it. As business owners, how many of us got into business just to escape the rat race? And guess what? When you win the rat race, you're still a rat. How about we think about growth and scalability and how we can stop creating a job for ourselves? We are CEO mindset here. So ideally, it's the person who's looking to grow and scale their business. They're like, look, this is my time, this is my season. But what we want to do is get you early. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So have an opportunity to come get on the call. You'll also hear about an intensive event we're having in July. Friends, come on, let's get on board. Let's stay ready so we don't have to get ready.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Doc. And I wish folks would join and check it out. I think it's a great space to get to know others who are also raising capital or looking for money, just to see how they're preparing. Natalie, I want to come back to you because the reason I brought Doc in that moment because we're talking about real estate, we're talking about investment, but I want to go back to this piece that you just said because I thought that was pretty cool. That instead of the way that you're thinking about setting up relationships or starting up business, expanding, if I may say that, in other territories, is not to go there and set it up yourself, but it's like who can we actually partner with on the ground? What is that actually like? What is that like to identify partners on the ground? Where do you find them? Can they actually be trusted? How did you go about doing that? If I wanted to get into the Spain market today, is this the route that you're recommending? But how do you do it? How did
Yeah,
you
I mean,
do it?
well, I think that there's two ways to kind of look at it. So I want to compare it to how we would do it in the United States, where in the United States it's a little bit of relationship, but I feel like when you're trying to expand, you always look for the one that's successful and try to kind of go on with them, right? Um, that is not necessarily how it's done in Europe or in Spain. So relationships matter. It's about the conversation. So if you were to do that, I would say get involved in some organizations prior to going and starting creating relationship and setting up some Zoom calls and conversations and coffees with them. Asking them and getting to know them. And like one of the first questions in the United States, at least in Atlanta, that when I meet people is like, what do you do? Well, that is like one of the last conversations in Europe. Like nobody, when you're there, people don't ask you what you do. They ask you about you, your family, where you're from. Like, so it's all relational and those things. So you have to create that first. And then from there, you kind of, when they trust you and get to know you and network with you, and I would say always offer something up, like be a resource for them as well. Then you can ask them, hey, is there somebody you think I should connect with based on my industry and what I'm looking to do that I also can help them, right? So I think that's kind of the conversations that need to happen because referrals are the ways that you get into groups that in Europe that you may not get into. And then it's about long term. If you expect to go in there for 1 month and create an opportunity to relate, that's not going to happen. It's really like when you invest in Europe and start looking at doing it is a long term. All European investors are looking at that. They want to see stability. So if you're creating relationships, they want to see, are you going to keep checking on me and are we going to have a relationship, right? Preservation of capital, they're looking at that. They're looking at some long-term growth. They're not looking at get rich fast. That's not a typical European way. And multi-generational wealth. Like people, it's so funny. Some of my friends in Barcelona, they live in these beautiful apartments. And I'm like, how are they able to afford it? He's a cop, police officer, right? That's because they don't, when a property passes on from one person to another, and that they don't go sell it to make money, to get quick, money. No, they keep it in that. So like multi-generational wealth is something that's ingrained in them. So looking at those perspectives, I think that's the biggest part is understanding that part. Here's the third part, I would say. Local expertise matters. So if you're going to go to Barcelona, create the relationships in Barcelona, because if you're going to be in Madrid and you learn the Madrid way, it's different. Yeah, even though it's Spain, the tax structures, regulations, customs, business customs are different in those two different places, and even south of Spain. So it's very regional. So there's like Basque Country, which is northern Spain, San Sebastian, Bilbao, beautiful, great food, wine country right up there. Then you have Barcelona down in the south. You got the mountains, you got wine there as well, of course. I think that's common all over Spain. You have the port, you have the beach, and then you have Madrid, that's like the hub. It's kind of like the New York, right? The New York and then LA is like the south of Spain, and then you have Miami, that's Barcelona, right? So I want you to think about Spain as being very, very broad in opportunities. So right away, you have to kind of look, as a business coach, the questions I would ask for you is this. What is the business that I'm in? And is this something that I think would be successful in Spain? And if the answers are no to it, then that's not the place you want to go, right? Or is there something similar to that that's an opportunity for me to expand to, right? And the only way you know, I'm a big believer in ChatGPT. Drop it in ChatGPT and see what it says. Then go and visit, go and sit, get with the locals, set up some business opportunities with that. I'm in a group, Black Women in Barcelona group, and like we're active. And in there, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, for example, and some are successful and some are not. It's just like United States, right? But finding people that are equally aligned and have the same fundamental basis and ethics that you do, in those smaller groups, you can find that. And then it's about who do they know that they can connect you with.
That's
Did that
interesting. I
answer
want to
it?
go back to what I want to go back to that point because you said women you're in a group of Black women in Spain, and maybe there are people on the call who've never actually imagined that Black people are actually resident in Spain, live in Spain, and
Yeah.
are actually doing business in Spain. Because most of the time it might be, oh, you just visit and go back to where you're actually from. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what is the Afro Spain community like in Spain today, for doing business and for building partnerships?
Yeah, I'll be totally transparent. There's definitely some what I would call a little bit of racism there for sure. Unfortunately, I think it's everywhere. You know, we all know, right? Um, what I think is unique and the reason I never even 2.5 years and I did not become fluent in Spanish because I just felt like, especially in Barcelona, because it's Catalan, it was hard for me to make local friends, right? All the friends I made over there are normally people that are nomad from another country. So I have friends from, all parts of Africa, London, United States, parts of Europe, you know, and I think that's the opportunity there, right? It's just like us. They want to help each other out. So getting into those groups, because we have like nomad business groups, entrepreneurship groups, healthcare groups. And if you have some groups you want to get into, you can always contact me, shoot an email like, hey, I'm in this industry. What are some of the groups that I can get involved in? Now, some of those groups require that you're actually based out of Spain. They don't want just a bunch of people to get in there, right? But those groups were great because when I did not have an answer to something and I was looking for it, I would get in that group and ask them, right? And when I was looking at expanding my business there, I had lunch and coffee with a bunch of business owners that did. And some of them were from the United States. And I was like, okay, talk to me about how you did it, right? And they will give you the blueprint. And me personally, then it didn't make sense. So I pivoted back and it wasn't a loss of 2.5 years. It was a gain of an experience that now has pivoted me on what I know I need to do to go back there in a year or two and start developing, right? Um, so it's the small groups that get you in, and but everybody's so willing to share is what I noticed. It wasn't oh, I don't want you to be successful because then I won't be. It was more so, hey, it's gonna be great, right? Um,
But I also think too, to your point, I think it's bilateral if you sort of think about it in terms of what can be reciprocated. Because if you're here in the US, there are people who are in Spain that are interested in the US, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just a situation where folks in America or wherever you are in Africa, in South America that are interested in Spain. The
Mhm.
other side is also true. Can you talk a little bit about the other side? Those people who are in Spain looking to do business in this side, how can we take advantage of that?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, unfortunately, I don't want to turn this political yet. When I first got to Spain, and even, I'm always in Sweden visiting my family, and I have a lot of friends of mine that own businesses in Sweden that are us. And before Trump took office, everybody wanted to expand to the United States. And then the tariff word came out, and everybody's like, ooh, I'll wait. So I think that there's huge opportunities, and a lot of European countries, Spain included, are kind of sitting and waiting and going, okay, well, there's going to be opportunities again once tariffs go away and all this war stuff going away. So I think this was a great opportunity to set up some opportunities and talk to them about that. Like, hey, let's create a relationship now. Because remember, I said it's slow building. Well, why not start building that now? And so then when the opportunities come back and we go back to normal, export, import and taxations, there are opportunities to take advantage of it. Now, don't wait to then start those relationships now. Yes, there's so many great products coming from Europe, especially goods that Americans love and want, right? Everybody loves that modern Scandinavian clean look, and even European kind of modern minimalistic style on a lot of things that they export. Food is one of the things as well, and of course wine. So I think there's great opportunities, but it's about starting those relationships, not on slow building them. Um, and what networks do you have here that would allow them to tap into your network so that you're giving them something as well, right? So as you're looking at your business, what does it align with in somebody in Spain, and what does their business, how can that align, and who can you connect them with here? I think those are important parts to kind of think about and ask questions. Like, people don't tend to ask questions. How can I be a resource for you in your business? Is there a way for you to expand to the United States? And if so, what would that look like? And who can I introduce you to make that happen?
Yeah, yeah, no, awesome. If you have any questions for Natalie, please go ahead and raise your hand or drop it in the chat. We'd love to take one or two to kind of hear your thoughts around your interest in Spain. This is one of the things I like about sort of GOC, because as we're building a platform, and I always say this is a platform. Think of it as a big stage you can dance your own dance on, and that's essentially what we're doing. And so Natalie, we've created these micro communities. These are WhatsApp groups for international people.
I love
We
that.
do want to create one for Spain because I think, like you said, slow growth, start building those relationships now. We'd love to invite you to kind of, be a part of that Spain group for us
Look
and
at
kind
look
of
at
help us
Ricardo putting me in
connect.
a spot. He knows I can't say
Um,
no now.
I
Okay,
know you're a
I'm good.
business
I'm good.
coach. I know you're not going to say no,
No,
but
I'm not gonna
anyway,
say
but
no.
the reality is that for folks who want to get more education about it,
Right.
and I think for those folks who would like you to help them and coach them through, and it's not your international person, so it's not just Spain, but you know a lot about Spain and you know a lot about Europe.
And
Talk to me.
Ricardo, let me also add that also, like, I'm doing a lot of exploration and working with my friend Sable. Sable is on here, I think. And we're doing, but there's so many of us moving to Panama right now. And there's so many opportunities in Panama for business, not just in Panama, but even Africa. She's been helping people expand their businesses there to Africa before. And so me and her actually, well, she's hosting a seminar coming up the weekend of June 13th and 14th. She's going to drop her link for any ABC member. She's doing a 50% off for it. I'll be one of the panel speakers on it. And it's about, relocating overseas. And then, how do you support yourself when you're there? So we'll definitely cover some of the business things as well. I think this one is geared towards women. Sorry, guys. It's going to be one of those power hours for women, but there are definitely some more opportunities that she'll have to be able to share that. Now, yes, I've been to 50 something countries, six continents. So there's not too many places that I can't speak on their culture. And if I don't know, I probably have somebody that does know. So feel free to reach out to me if you're looking for some connections. I have good friends of mine in Sweden because I'm in Stockholm. There's quite a bit of the immigration policy has been very open in Sweden and Stockholm specifically. So I went to school we had 24 students in my class in ninth grade, 22 different countries in 24 students. right? So that tells you. A lot of my friends have businesses they run out of Uganda, right? Ghana, Kenya, and they're doing things with Europe and Africa. So I have some connections and definitely will open that up as well.
Yeah, I have to ask you, we're coming up on the hour, but I have to ask you ideally about one World Cup. So what are your thoughts? I know Spain is playing here in Atlanta. Do you have any scoop on that you can share with us, so that folks can at least be aware and know exactly where to go if they want to kind of connect with some folks from the Spaniard Kingdom?
Yeah, so there's actually there if you go on the just Google Chamber of Commerce Spain and Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, they're doing an event on the day of, I think it's June 15th, because Spain plays I think at noon. So they're gonna have a watch party, but they're also doing like a national community or like a national kind of conference, like for one day to connect people that are here to opportunities within Spain and United States. So highly recommend doing that. I know Ricardo, I sent you the links for that. I don't know if you want to drop it in. I don't have it in front of me. I think that would be a great opportunity as well. There's believe it or not, Hudson and Grill has always been a place where people from Spain go and watch games. So, if you want to start networking with people from Spain, that's another place as well. And just check in the Chamber of Commerce for Spain here in Atlanta and see what events that they have coming up. Some they're not as active as some of the other countries, but they do have definitely events for sure. Um, I would say this. I don't know if going to hang out and watching the World Cup is the right network or environment to really do business or create opportunities, but it could be somebody you meet and then you set up some calls afterwards, right? Um, so they're gonna have like Spanish House, which is gonna be Casa España over in that green space area. So if you go on there, you'll also see that. And I think I sent you that as well, Ricardo, a link to it. Um,
Yeah.
I think that the World Cup is a great opportunity to go and shake hands and get contacts and LinkedIn and WhatsApp numbers. And then later on, sorting through it and setting some opportunities to have a coffee with somebody on Zoom to figure out what industry they're in and all the opportunities, right?
Slow building, like you said, right?
Very
Slow
much
building.
slow
I think
building.
so. It's be a great opportunity to connect with folks. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and whatever
Um,
you do, also, please do not make the first two questions be, what's your name and what do you do? That is not the European way. Like, don't even ask what they do. Ask them how you're enjoying Atlanta. Where are you from? How is that country? Are you here by yourself? Are you here with your family?
yeah,
Slow building. Do not go to what do you do?
yeah. What's your name? What you do? Keep it
Right.
that
Yeah.
vague. Okay,
Because right away
good
they'll put a
lesson.
stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good lesson. I appreciate that. I see Janelle has her hand up. Janelle, please quickly unmute and ask your question.
Yes. Got a quick question about Portugal.
Ah.
Do you have any experience regarding your, business or living opportunities in Portugal? Thank you.
Yeah, so Janelle, it's interesting. Portugal was also on one of my lists, and I went there and I was going to expand there, but as I was moving to Europe, the golden visa was disappearing. And the golden visa was you buy a real estate a certain amount and you have an opportunity to get residency. They took that away, and they're taking that away in most European countries right now because there's such an exodus out of the United States. So, and they have to control that. There are still opportunities in Portugal, and they're investment related. Now, once a quarter, I tend to do a seminar on investing to get residencies. And let's be clear, guys, having a secondary passport is an asset. Rich people have multiple passports or residencies, right? And so Portugal is one of the places that you can invest to get residency. And there are opportunities for sure in Portugal also. The tax laws are different in Portugal than Spain, so it just depends. But they're very similar culture-wise when it comes to family first, lifestyle, etc. So very similar culture. So even that, it's going to be slow building if you're looking to start something there. Janelle, feel free to, and I think my admin, JT, if you're on here, please drop my information down in the chat. And feel free to reach out to me. I will be setting up in July another seminar just talking about business, well, opportunities in other countries for getting residencies in those countries or doing investments in the countries as well.
Thank you. And so for someone, and I've got a poll. I needed to drop the poll, folks, and just to kind of get your temperature on Spain. So I'm going to launch it real quick. If you have a minute to participate, that would be great. Just want to see if you've ever been in Spain, and so what do you think some of the opportunities in Spain are today, and do you actually see yourself doing any business out there? Natalie, for someone listening to today and kind of want to expand internationally, not even just Spain, but you have a lot of insights on Europe. What do you think the first step that they actually should take? I know you alluded to some of it earlier, find some of the local micro spaces out there and connect. But what are some of the other things that you think they should do as a next step?
Yeah, I think I think the first step is, is it your industry that you're in? I think everybody's situation is going to be different. The business I'm in, all their opportunities with that. Do the research on that first. And if there's pretty much no opportunities, there's no point of creating relationships in that place, right? Now, if you're like, well, I want to do business in Spain. Okay, well, then you have to kind of flip it and go, what are the opportunities in Spain? And you're going to need the local insight and input and relationships to figure that out. It's not going to be enough to go chat GPT and it gives you, a list of things that you're like, I'm picking this, right? Because there are so many other things that could get in the way. Taxation, regulations. Um, I, are they allowing in that city, are they allowing for outside businesses to come in, right, regulation wise? I would say that right away figure out, is your product or service going to be something that's needed, and if so, then you go to the next step. I would connect with people on LinkedIn, join some international groups, start attending virtual events, set up some, I call it coffees, but it's really informational meetings. People like to connect, definitely for sure, and start building some of the relationships. And then when you find out, hey, this going to Madrid or going to Barcelona might make sense for my business, set up to go and stay for like a month. Get an Airbnb, stay for a month. All those people that you network and connect with, create deeper relationships, and they'll be more than happy to like meet with you, show you around. I think that's kind of the steps you should go through, and flushing it out. But most importantly, if you're thinking about going, before you spend that money for the month, find out what the tax rules are. Can you open a business? What does that look like? Because a lot of times I've seen people I've met in Barcelona that started businesses there. And then right when they're getting ready to launch and start making money, they go, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm not going to make money because of tax. Because they tax a lot more in Spain. I mean, in Europe in general, right? But you get so much more for it. So just really do a lot more of your for research before you pulling the trigger on it.
Yeah, and thanks, Ali. So launched a poll, folks. Let me know if you can. I know some of you said you can't see it, but let me know if you're seeing it. I relaunched it, so it should actually populate. I don't see the option to relaunch it anymore, so we'll probably have to kind of live with it. But just go ahead and fill it out. We see some folks who are still. Most folks haven't been to Spain. But you're also a business coach,
I
Natalie. And
am.
so I want to, for folks, you're advising you're advising these business owners on the call, and how should they sort of think about, everybody here has some interest in doing something international or attracting international business into their business here. How should they be thinking about this for the rest of the year as business owners? How should they be thinking about this even for the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, once you figure out if there's an opportunity, does it make sense for you to start a business there, or could it be just a strategic partnership? Could you do a joint venture, for example? Like, is it an opportunity for you to, uh, well, let me back up. So, as a business coach, I always say the first questions I would ask for you is, why do you want to expand to Spain? The why is big. If it's money, 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 then make sure you look and dig deeper. If it's a, hey, I have an opportunity to create a foothold in Spain so I can maybe make that be my home in the future, because living in Spain is magical, right? So that would be my first question. And then what is your industry and does that have opportunities there? I think that as you're starting to look at that, you know, ask a lot of questions for yourself to flush it out before you start jumping on it and go into action, right? So really think it through, then go to action. And then once you start doing action, you have to be really strategic on how you go about it. So it's, who do I need to know in this industry? Okay, all their organizations or chambers in that industry. Also, all what I would recommend is if you're in like tech, for example, there are tons of tech conferences coming into Barcelona and Madrid. Find a tech conference. That's a great time to go and just introduce yourself and meet people that are in that industry. So finding what it is that you do and who is obviously your target audience. And if you want to do joint ventures or strategic partnerships, maybe other people that do the same thing. So find where they are, and it could be in a conference, it could be online, it could be in groups, it could be chambers, and start working through that. I
So
think those are
quickly,
my biggest advices.
thank you so much, Natalie. And quickly, I see Deborah had a question in the chat for you. I just wanted to answer it quickly before we wrap. Is it hard to get dual real estate in Spain with a friend who wants me to assume her residential property?
Okay, I didn't really understand that. So are you a real estate agent and you're trying to sell their property there?
So I don't know if Deborah wants to come off mute and clarify quickly, but
Well, Deborah, also feel free to just give me a call after this and we can chat directly. Not a problem.
all right, awesome. Thanks for looking out for folks. Well, guys, I appreciate. Let me just drop the. I'm ending the poll. I see some of you shared your insight, and what we're seeing here is 65% of folks has never been to Spain. So that's also
Wow.
an opportunity. But there are 35 who have. So maybe y'all can kind of help each other. And then in terms of the opportunities, tourism by far, people think about tourism and tech and some of the other big industries or high growth sectors that Spain is known for. Spain is known for a lot of other things. You talk about the wine earlier. You talk about some of those, even materials for real estate, for decor and building and construction. But yes, I think half of the room see themselves doing business in Spain, which is great, and the other half don't really see themselves doing it there. But think of Spain as a launch pad, if it's something that you're interested in. But do it
Hey,
slowly,
Ricardo,
right?
maybe we need to put together an exploration trip to Spain. I'll be more
Maybe
than
we do need
the
to,
lead
yeah.
that put that on.
Maybe we do need to do something like that for Europe. So yeah, when we do our delegation again for Europe, we'll definitely be hitting Spain. But Natalie, I do want to thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to have you here. I'm glad you're in Atlanta. I'm glad folks can have proximity to you, so folks can feel free to reach out. Thank you everybody for participating. Next week we're gonna be talking some more. We'll never know what topic. But we're going to be talking to someone else also from Atlanta. I think an ambassador as well, who's been all over the world, who can really sort of help us to understand what's happening. Coming up later, like I said, we've got the building the global ecosystem that's coming up around 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow we have the info session. Please grab some of the stuff in the chat. Support Natalie and is it the conference that you're a panel later this month or next week? Is it?
Yeah, no, it's next week. Yeah.
Next week. So please go ahead, support her, reach out to her, and stay in tune. We'll definitely see you Saturday if you're interested in participating in World Cup activities. That's going to be in Atlanta. Please come out. I put that into the chat earlier. Please come out so that you can actually participate in that. The World Legacy Fest, the World Cup Ready, GOC, like we're all going to be there helping you to participate, figure out where you need to participate, what you can actually do while you're in the city. And don't forget, if you meet someone from Spain, just keep the name and the what you do to the end. Make sure you lean into the other things that matters to them as part of culture. Good cultural lesson. So thank you so much. I'll
Thank
reshare
you
the
for
stuff in
having
the
me,
chat for
Ricardo.
you
I
guys.
appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you guys, and we'll definitely see you next week. We're gonna come out with that video again from the World Legacy Fest. Thank you all. We appreciate it.
Welcome to the heartbeat of the city. We are building the future of impact at the World Legacy Fest.
It all starts on June 20th At Rodney Cook Park, our citywide block party and festival is the main stage, where global energy meets Atlanta's authentic culture. Right here on the west side, it's bigger than the game. June 21st, Fathers on the Field. This is where the foundation is poured. This is where the legacy is secured. Real men, real impact, planting seeds on our own soil.
From the field, we elevate to the world stage, hosting global visionaries at our exclusive luncheon, connecting Atlanta's history to the world's future. We take that energy and channel it into a standard of excellence, celebrating the power of our culture on a truly global scale. World Legacy Fest 2026. This is the blueprint. We play to win.
Love that video. It gives me goosebumps.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Good job, Natalie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you on Saturday if you're coming out. We'll be in touch. Have a great day, everybody.